Go. So welcome everyone to our third session of SEPAC Summer School. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about how SEPACs can do outreach in their communities. So I'd like to welcome Kathleen Emerald from the Dartmouth SEPAC, who's going to talk to us a little bit how to spread the word and get the message out. So thanks, Kathleen.
Yeah, really great to be here. We'll save any questions because I know this group is. I just got notification that you have spotlight my video for everyone. Thanks, Leslie. No pressure. So I just got a short few slides, and then we can, be very have a conversation around things maybe I didn't cover that you've experienced, but I think it's really important to think about how you can utilize your local cable access TV stations and press releases to amplify the message and spread the word about what you're doing. And so if I can, okay, good, here we go, to minimize this so that I can see my side. So I started out with this slide. We always want to talk about why it's important to even think about outreach, right? We want to always make sure that we're focusing on the goal and the outcome. And so for an outcome, some things that I thought about as to why we might want to put things out there in the media or amplify or outreach in this way. It's awareness for what a CPAC is. It's always important to remind people what we're there for and how we can help families, right? All of the things that you've been learning and that you've been doing, how we can help the community. People getting to know what you're doing, it improves meeting attendance. I mean, it's kind of a simple thing, but there can be bullets under this as to what your goals are and what you want to accomplish in having a bigger audience, reaching that broader audience. There might be folks that didn't know that you existed in your town. There might be members in other towns that you welcome into your meetings for the purpose of learning and collaborating. And another point that I thought of in preparing this is just it's increasing the engagement with your greater school community, amplifying, putting out press releases, connecting with your local cable access. You're going to attract people who didn't know you were a formed group. But then also, CPAC is open to interested parties. And so there might be allies within your community that want to learn about what you're doing and want to help you in the effort, volunteer at events and that sort of thing. And they might not be guardians or parents within your caretakers in your community, but they might have an interest. They might have a family member and they might want to, help you in an effort. And it's always good to engage in that way and have people that like-minded people kind of serving that same purpose and to meeting the goal. And so the how, press releases. So for press releases, I utilize press releases for most of the events that I help organize with our CPAC as the chair. And what I have found is that they are a great way to put together all of the details and the high points and the in a way that is clear and concise and organized to help people really understand what you're offering, what they might get out of it, why they want to come to your meeting. Well, I want to learn about XYZ. I want to get involved. You write them out clearly as I've organized here, writing a short description of that topic. If there are going to be anything to note, like, are you serving food? Are kids invited? Will there be childcare? Can we join as a hybrid model, which is difficult, but it's possible. And then summarize. So you've got those details, the who, the what, the where, the when in your press release. The exciting things, we have events in the fall. We organize a large community event and we have face painting, we have food trucks, we have activities for kids, we have special events happening within the course of the day. And so I want to highlight those things in my press release so that people know it's, wow, it's just not information. It's also a craft fair. It's also face painting. It's also an opportunity for kids to get, their wiggles out and have some fun as well while parents are navigating resources and that sort of thing. So you want to catch the attention by the way that you're describing your event. You want to be honest, you want to be clear. Oh, I see somebody as a co-host. I see somebody's joining. So you want to, how you do it. You want to figure out, who do you want to send this to? Who do you want to send this press release to? And so there's a little bit of research involved. And what I typically do is I keep a running list of my local TV channels, even Channel 10. They advertise things on Saturday morning, like a running banner. And so when you send that press release, it'll say, Weymouth SEPAC is hosting a sensory night or some event on this day, and the banner will run. I don't know if a lot of people are watching Channel 10 on a early Saturday morning, but somebody's aunt or uncle or neighbor might be, and they might want to let you know that something's happening within your community that you might not have otherwise known about. So it's always a good way to advertise. Church bulletins. If there are any local blogs. So it takes a little bit of back end research, or somebody on your team, your secretary, or somebody that likes to kind of do a little bit of internet research. You want to keep your lists updated, and you want to, for instance, the community event I talked about, who do I want to come to this event? Well, everyone in my surrounding southeastern Massachusetts is invited. So who are those people in those towns? I'll often send to Leslie, can you send it out to other CPACs and that sort of thing to get the word out. Radio stations, AM, FM, a lot of them, if you are established as a nonprofit, a lot of them will take the time to either interview you or promote you on air. They're not always the best times in terms of free advertising, but they will pro bono mention your events as a CPAC, which is great. So you send the press release to them and they just sort of highlight those details as a short little bit on the radio station. Paid advertisement is a whole other topic, but researching who's your local AM station, your local FM stations, and again, church bulletins, community boards, Panera, Target, Stop and Shop, Shaw's, markets that have those community boards. Print a few, put them up there. And again, keep that list of these places and the names and emails. Sending through email is incredibly easier than delivering to these other places, but whatever you can do to prepare on the back end will really help you as you move forward, because you'll have that list as a go-to and easily sort of make it an email list and email it out to all the parties that you've thought about that might be good ways to target folks. And then there's cable access. And talk about cable access. So cable access channels exist throughout the state. And while my town has a pretty viable Dartmouth community television, they have a lot of programs and they do highlight a lot of events around town. If I were in a city or a town that didn't have such a robust offering, I would look to the next town over, because folks like to watch local cable programming. Many of them record the music events at the middle school and the high school or the senior center or the council on aging, and they're a great resource to tap into. I have so pre-COVID, it was our go-to, right? It was our go-to. It's still our go-to, but it was our go-to to get the word out. We've gone to our studio and we've recorded little videos about our upcoming events, and we've had them record us talking about what the SEPAC is. And so what it becomes is a little show, a short little show that plays over and over on a rotating basis. And so every now and again, you turn on our local TV and you'll see a commercial about our CPAC or an overview, a summary of one of our events. A big one, like I said, I talk about the Community Resource Fair. They've gone to our resource fairs and interviewed the resources around the tables and put together a nice video for us. So you contact them, you find out who they are, whether it's somebody in your city or town. It's usually listed right on your main website for your city or your town, and you let them know who you are and that you host these workshops, and they want to talk about things that matter to people in their community. And so you serve a great purpose for something that is of interest and valuable for them to highlight. And so there have been times that we've had workshops where we contact them, we let them know upcoming events. They coordinate with their staff if they can have somebody cover, or a volunteer or an intern come to our meetings and record them. And now, post COVID, if we have an event that is on Zoom, we will invite them and collaborate so that they will be there to take the recording and show it on the cable channel. But ours also has a presence on social media. So they have YouTube. So it's just a great way to have your work be shared more globally. So if we have a topic that is a business meeting, but then there's some anecdotal conversation that happens at the end, we don't record that part, but we record the information, the general information, the agenda or the workshop. And then we stop before like a Q&A. So it's certainly something that is feasible. It's really doable in a way that you can cover topics that are sensitive, that are important, that are important for the students and your work in a way that allows for privacy and not putting out individual situations on the airway for folks to kind of, who are they talking about? So there's a way to respect privacy, but also have them, be just shared, and able for you to share them on your school website or on your Facebook pages and that sort of thing, or to send out in newsletters or Survey Monkeys links to past meetings, much like other organizations do, like Federation. So it's great. But one other thing that I didn't add to this that I want to mention as well is many high schools, many cities and towns and districts have high schools that have video clubs or media departments. And we do in Dartmouth have a great video program, and the students are always looking for topics to cover. And so contacting who is it in your district that is covering it? Is there somebody in the middle school in a video club that might want to interview somebody on a topic related to special education, CPAC work, or is there somebody in the high school that you could connect with to get on their roster for upcoming shows? That students that take video class are often tasked with creating a show or creating some sort of video program. And a few times now we've been able to be recorded and interviewed in that way for some of the work that we've done over the years. And so with that, I don't know that I have another slide, but I'd love to open it up for more discussion. Yeah, I think that's the end of my slide. So I'm going to stop sharing, Leslie, just because I can't see faces.